Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and welcome to lucky week number 13 of our 45-week countdown to the best version of ourselves in the new year. And for those of you who are new, you are right on time. There is never a better time than now than to choose wellness. 13 weeks, my friends. That's how long we have. Exactly 13 weeks and 2 days to January 1st, 2020. So what is your goal and are you achieving it? That is where we're at. We have a bunch of little mini challenges going on, right? You might be part of Dawn's Happier Rebounder Challenge on Instagram, where they're rebounding their way to health every day for the entire year, but you're right on time. We started last week with 100 days. You might be in Jules' 100-day challenge, where we're doing RNR, raw eating, and rebounding. I was going to say resetting, but resetting was a great goal too. I just finished the Tanny Raw reset, and if you're not familiar with Tanny Raw, she is a social media phenom on every social media platform. And I just finished the reset, and it was really successful for me on many levels, even though I struggled a little bit. But I showed up every day, and I'm getting into clothes that I haven't been able to wear, and my hair is growing and growing. Which is a lot of fun because at the beginning of the challenge for the year, I was like, oh, I won't cut my hair once all year. I panicked. I totally cut it. I did panic and cut my bangs yesterday, but I think it was a good move. Sorry for guys who are like, really? Do I care about this girl's hair? Not really, except for you don't even know. I mean, as you start to get well, you might start losing hair too, and you'll be like, oh no, am I going to go bald? No, you're not. You're going to get hair back, what I refer to as vegan hair, and it's a tremendous blessing. So it's not totally off the mark to talk about that. But anyway, so we were saying, are you willing to go for raw? And even if you're not totally successful, you will be closer than you were had you not even made that a goal. And what's the big deal with raw? Is it obsessive? Is it crazy? Is it extreme? You know what it is? It's God. It's just God, because those are all the things that He actually made. They grow out of the ground. They grow on trees, and they are things available to us through nature and God. The rest of it is packaged or modified in some way by humans, which isn't a total crime, but in most cases, sadly, it is. I will say again that I am continuing with my urge jar and adding urges in here. And all that is anything, whether it's a sticker, whether it's a penny, whether it's a little glass bead, you are simply saying, I avoided this many urges, which would have ended up on my lips and inevitably on my hips. So, there's just little things like that. I had a very difficult day today because I ended up having to go to a full day district training, and no sub showed up for my kids, so they were all split up. And even though I was trying to do the superhero thing last night, I couldn't. And it's really sad. I'm not managing my time. I'm running on no sleep for days at a time, which is not only unhealthy, but can be dangerous when you have to drive 100 miles a day or more. And I have to try and find a balance with that. And, maybe that's part of my goal, time management right now, And the thing is, I was going to push and push, but I was thinking, even if it upsets my principal, even if it upsets the parents, I can't get it all done right now. There's a lot on me, more than some, and I can either do it well and not on their timeline, or I can humor them and turn it all in, but none of it will match the truth that's transpiring in my classroom. And maybe that's some of what's going on for us too. You show up somewhere, and I'm going to get back to mentioning that Tanny Raw thing. That's how off I am right now. I wanted to conclude with that. I wanted to say Tanny Raw, who's the phenom in the Raw Reset, which is such an incredible experience, and that I had just done the Raw Reset, and it was successful for me. But what I was going to mention was there's going to be one coming up in November, and that could really help some people get momentum to make it through those holidays. It is such a difficult time. And for some people to be like, well, I signed up for the reset for November, so I can go ahead and eat Halloween candy if I want because I'll get clean. That's such flawed logic, because once that candy and stuff is in your body, it will be screaming at you for weeks to come. But whatever the case is, that raw reset at TannyRaw.com is coming, and it fills up kind of fast. I think she takes about 75 people now. And it's life-changing, to be sure. It's totally life-changing, and you might want to look into that. The next one won't be until the beginning of the year, which, again, people will be making a ton of empty promises to themselves saying, oh, good, I'll get clean in January. But that's not going to be our case. In January for us, we're going to say this is just one more day in one more month, because I've been well for days. I've been well for 100 days. I've been well for 45 weeks. And the reason it was 45 weeks instead of 52, it's because it was about 7 weeks in that I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to step this up and make a very deliberate plan. And so that's how we ended up starting at the 45-week mark. But again, for people who are starting today, you're right on time, honestly. Tanny Raw always says, I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get wellness. I don't know how long it's going to take for your body to heal. But what I know is you will be one step closer if you start today than if you hadn't. You'll be one day closer to your goal. And that is so true. Hey, Mama's making her video. Don't you dare. Excuse me. That is a no. Make a better choice. My kids. My fur kids. What do they call them? Fur babies? When a mom tries to be stern and then she giggles, all the kids just know. They're just like, ooh. And plus they have a rep to protect, and I'm blowing it. Okay, anyway. I can't remember what I was talking about, but I was just going to say, no matter what you're doing, you're going to be one step closer to that goal than if you hadn't started. And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, I try and keep a daily journal. I should say successfully. I successfully keep a daily journal. And sometimes I have to write stuff off the page because it wasn't my food. But I still want to be accountable for it. But honestly, if this is, 250 days. What did we say? There's 100 days left. Less than 100 days. Whatever, don't make me do math right now. I think it's like 285 days, whatever it was. In like 40 times I have had to write something off the page, but that doesn't mean that it was all binge food or bad food. Some of the times that I wrote something off the page, it just wasn't my intended food, even though by all accounts it was vegan, It just may not have been the raw vegan that I had intended. And again, this is just for me. Just like those urges. No one gets to decide what my urge was. I get to decide. And some days this isn't even about overeating. It's about a mindset. And I'll just put something in here to show that my mind was not in the direction that I was hoping for. And same thing. I will write something off the page on here because it was a couple of extra some things, even though they were on my plan. And so all these little tools just help to keep you on your way. Why don't you share in the comments below what tools you've been using, or what works best for you and what you would like to recommend for some newbies on here or people who are just joining. And as always, I would love it if you'd put what your actual goal is, and though it may change, we still have a great amount of time. It's actually, 95 days? 95 days till the new year, that you could change your life, You could change your life for the better and feel good about yourself. So why don't you go ahead and write below what your goal is again, even if it changes, and let this small community, small but elite, marvelous community, support you with that goal. That would be fabulous. All right, it was a little scattered, but hey, I checked in. I've got to get back to homework, and I am going to call it. Let's just make a commitment right now. I'm afraid to make a commitment right now. I'm going to call it at midnight, like 12 o'clock straight up, no matter what. I'm already having heart palpitations. At 12 midnight, I am going to bed. I can go to bed earlier, but I'm not staying up later. How about that? Love it. Let's see how that plays. All right, like if you like, join us if you haven't by subscribing. And until we talk again, my friends, know that I pray for you, and best of all, trust that you're blessed.